Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have another brand new group for you today that we have never done. We are doing the Cars and we are doing Drive. And the reason why we have not got to the Cars yet is why, Philip?
Well, we had caught wind of the Cars and their popularity, I think, was pretty prevalent during the late 70s, 80s. And so it's a group that, you know, was on the radar. However, apparently experienced some copyright related issues. So that's why we haven't got to them thus far.
Yes.
But seemingly there have been people that have been doing reactions, reviews to the Cars more recently, and
Had some success.
Yeah, it's been a little more successful. So that's why we're coming to this
Fingers
one.
crossed that you are watching this right now.
Yeah. And if there's a video overlay of sorts or anything like that, that is why, but hopefully that's not the case. Anyways, the Cars are, like I said, something that we've been meaning to come to. Drive is one of their most popular songs, we believe. However, we are newbies when it comes to the Cars, as with many artists that we've done on the channel thus far. So we appreciate your insights down in the comments. But I'm excited to check them out because I've heard a lot about them. And I think they're pretty unique in the sound that they have.
Ooh, cool.
But that's all I know is uniqueness, very popular, and 70s, 80s feel. So
yeah, I believe this song, it said it was from 1984. So I'm interested to see if this has a
I think
80s feel to it.
This is from their 5th studio album. So this will be later, but one of their more popular vibes. Anyways, I'm done chatting. Oh, if you notice that we're matching in blue today as well. This happens way too frequently, guys, let me tell you. Happened
he wants
yesterday
to be just
too.
Like me.
Yeah, that's completely it. Who wouldn't want to be like Sam? Anyways, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Who's gonna tell you when it's too late? Who's gonna tell you things aren't so great? You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna pick you up when you fall? Who's gonna hang it up when you call? Who's gonna pay attention to your dreams? Yeah, who's gonna plug their ears when you scream? Can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
All right. Well, we are already almost through this song. We'll rewind it a bit and listen to a little more Drive from the Cars. But musically, definitely 80s. If I had not known what era it was in prior to getting into the song, I would have guessed
80s.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Based on the synthesizer use that they have, really predominant. It's amazing how there was such a sharp change from the 70s to the 80s in the sound. And clearly that's relevant in a lot of eras. But I would say the change was less from like the 60s to the 70s versus the 70s to the 80s. And I think the synthesizer use is really prevalent in that change, and you
Yeah.
can hear that coming through so much on
Yeah.
this. And it's interesting the sound that it provides. It's like a pop rock mix of sorts.
Yeah.
It's very popish, but it's not like poppy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's very unique. I think I said in the beginning before we got into the cars that they have a unique sound, and I think that mix of like a pop rock feel is why it's so unique, because
It's almost like a pop soft rock.
yeah, and it's got such a ballad feel to it.
Yeah.
But it's a little more commercialized of a ballad, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to put it into words because I haven't really experienced anything like it before.
Yeah.
But that, I think, is a credit to probably what they brought to the table, was such a unique sound that people hadn't heard before, and maybe why it stood out so much.
Yeah, it also sounds really familiar to me. Like, I can't really put my finger on it. I
Not
don't
to
know
me at all.
if I don't know where I would have heard it. But when it started playing, in the very first, I didn't recognize it. But as it went on, especially in that chorus piece, I was like, I feel like I've heard this before, but I don't know when, where, why, how.
Yeah, it's interesting as well in that it has a lot of layers through this pop sound, but the vocal is really bare bones. Mm-hmm. You know, he's kind of staying in the
Same range.
yeah, and you know, he's melodic, but not, you know, going through any peaks and valleys so much.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for a pop song as well, because you try to make it catchy normally, and
doesn't
you
really
know,
come to like a climax or anything either.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting into these backup vocals, which sound great in this, in the chorus section, and it adds this, you know, choir-esque feel to it.
Yeah.
Playing off of that vocal, which I think adds some more layers and, you know, in the spacing process. But yeah, it's very unique. Anyways, I'm ready to get back into it. Do you want to add anything before we do?
Well, I was going to say lyrically, like, what have you kind of taken from it lyrically? Because I've kind of got this vibe of that they're talking about a relationship dynamic and kind of talking about, like, keep saying who's going to do all these things for you. But then it also almost sounds like it's like not a positive, beneficial relationship. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of a little bit confused about like where that's going.
Yeah, I've been a little bit confused as well, because the video is giving me like different
fair.
reference point to what the lyrics are saying. So
Yeah.
let's
We'll see at the
listen to
end.
it a little bit more, and then maybe we'll wrap it up with some lyric interpretation.
Cool.
When you scream, you can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna hold it down when you shake? Who's gonna come around when you break? You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Oh, you know you can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
She looks so sad.
Really interesting how at the back half, after we paused it, how much usage of the backing vocals there were. It was like an added layer onto the synthesizers that was...
I didn't really notice it as much in the first half, but once you pointed it out, I was like, okay, yeah, it's definitely
Well, because it fits so perfectly. I don't know, it could have been there in the first half and I didn't pick up it as much, but I think they added in a little bit more.
Okay.
And it was just layered so well and fit in so seamlessly that you almost didn't even notice it. And it sounded like another instrument that they were using, which was beautiful. It was really, really well done.
Yeah.
And the lyrics, like I didn't seemingly find a whole lot to them other than maybe it's like a foundational grounding that he's talking about. So who's going to be your rock? Basically,
Yeah.
right? And the chorus related to drive that's the focus. I don't think it necessarily relates to anything of like the word drive. I think that was just, they use that in the chorus,
Yeah.
and so that's why they called it that. But I think the song meaning is based around, who's going to be there for you when you need a rock, or
Yeah.
what is your rock going to be,
Yeah.
and is your foundational support in that light. So, anyways, I've said a little bit too much already. What are you thinking?
Yeah, and I think I agree with that. Like, because what I took from it is he was like you were saying, asking like who's gonna do this for you, who's gonna do that for you. But then at the end, that you can't keep going on pretending like nothing's wrong. So almost like and made reference to like when you break or you're shaking, right? So obviously this person's going through a hard time, right?
Yeah.
They need somebody there to have
Yeah.
that support. I liked it. I know that the synthesizers are like very indicative of the 80s, but like I love it. I don't know why I love that like electronic kind of synthesizer sound. I feel like it's so fun, even in a song that isn't super like upbeat and high energy. I feel like it does bring a little bit more energy into the song by using that. So I really like that. And even though, again, like we said, his vocal wasn't anything like groundbreaking, I feel like it sat in with the vibe of the song very well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't all synth. I'm just saying that it was heavier synth than what we were accustomed to.
But I liked it.
And I think the mixing process that they use gives it that 80s sound as well to go alongside with this new wave feel. So it was really cool, though. I mean, it was very unique, like I said, and I think it was a great usage of the era that they were in with those sounds to produce something so unique that was super catchy. And I think what made it more catchy would be that the lyrics, there wasn't a ton of them, and it was kind of repetitive.
Yes.
But it was transcendent in some ways, the way they created this feel with his vocal and the instrumentation process. So anyways, it was very unique. Like I said, I think we have to listen to more from the Cars, though, because I don't know if this is going to be a one-off from them based on what we were reading and their diversity.
Sounds like this is when they started to change their sound a little bit. So
yeah, but we don't know a whole lot about the Cars. So you can let us know down below. We appreciate your insights, guys. We are so grateful for everything that you've provided to the channel with your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and the notification bell is also important. Don't forget that. But we wouldn't be where we are today without all your support, guys. It's been so overwhelming, but in a positive way. So please continue that
guys.
On this video. Make sure you come back tomorrow. We drop 2 videos every single day. We'll see you then.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.